Hi there, my name is Andrew James. I'm the road bike product manager at BMC. Here we have the next model in our lineup, the Grandfondo GF01. The Grandfondo GF01 was released earlier this year to astounding success just before one of the hardest bike races, or hardest one-day bike races in the world, Paris-Roubaix. This was designed not only with our team riders in mind, but also for everyday commuter and enthusiast cyclists. The bike is designed from a very strong base core. You'll see it from the down tube, or the head tube, down tube, and all the way along the chain stays. This gives us an immensely stiff frame when we talk about lateral stiffness through the frame there. However, the upper part of the frame is extremely small, or small in comparison to those tubes I've just mentioned, and this allows for the vertical compliance. Now, with the TCC concept, which is tuned compliance concept, which we have seen for the last 3 years on our top-of-the-line racing bike, the Team Machine, which Cadel Evans rode to victory at the Tour de France in 2011, we had to go one step further to make this bike even more compliant and comfortable, but without losing any lateral stiffness. We've achieved that with what we call angle compliance. So you'll see these bends in certain parts of the frame, especially in the rear triangle there. That angle compliance allows, once we integrate the carbon fibers, how we do the layup of that, this is what's causing, or actually flexing and causing this fantastic concept called angle compliance. This gives you the amazing comfortable feel when you're doing the ride. Now, we haven't just focused on the compliance in those areas, but also the whole geometry has changed. For the first time, BMC have now entered into the endurance category. So you'll see a geometry here that is different to the racing geometries we've had before on the Team Machine and the racing bikes. However, the bike is UCI compliant, and like I mentioned at the start, this bike was used by the BMC racing team. We don't do special bikes or frames for the team. The exact same frame Alessandro Ballan came third in Paris-Roubaix this year, the first time it was ridden. That's the same frame that you'll be buying and riding when you buy the bike off the shelf. Here I have a very good, very easy to understand visual representation of what angle compliance is all about. I have here a triangle. Triangle basically because a bicycle frame is made up of two triangles, and it's clear to see that a standard element or a standard tube, if I try and compress it, nothing happens. Okay, there's very little compression. Okay. However, if I take one of those elements and I put a bend in it under compression, you see what happens. It absorbs the compression. That is exactly the concept we've done with the Grandfondo GF01 and the GF02 by these angle compliance elements in the frame, and they're very easy to see.
I've been lucky enough to spend a fair bit of time on a GF01, and my overriding impression of it is actually it's probably the most comfortable bike I've ever ridden, and it's definitely my kind of bike. As I guess what I consider myself to be a sportive rider, you know, a little bit moving on a little bit in years perhaps, and it suits me down to the ground. It's got the responsiveness when you kick down on the pedals, but it's got the comfort to get you through those long hours in the saddle, thanks to all the hard work these guys have put into the frame, and also some other things like the tyre selection. So like the 28C tyres, that adds a little bit to it, and yeah, it's a fantastic bike for grinding out those long miles and not feeling completely crippled at the end of it. So yeah, I shall probably be putting my hand in my pocket at some point and getting myself one of these, I think.